Hi there! Last time you saw me make this centerboard or sideboard, and now we're gonna start working on the next project for this. So the sideboard goes in like this. When lowered it points down like this, and when raised the draft doesn't get limited. I can go into really shallow areas. I plan on this not sticking down more than about 20 centimeters. But to hold everything in place securely, there needs to be a cover outside the centerboard or sideboard. My plan is to make the cover rest on these pipes here that I have glued into the hull, and have the bolt going through here, locking everything in place. So the side force will be controlled by these pipes holding the cover in place, and the actual hull on the other direction. So of course there will be some side forces acting on the board. That's the whole reason with the board. And those needs to be controlled. So these pipes here will hold down the board, and the bolt will only lock the cover in place. So how should this be made? I don't want it to stick out any further than the hull, because then I will have some drag. So it needs to be smooth along this edge here. And I will make something out of plywood. The cover can't be higher than 38 centimeters. I hope that will be enough to handle the side forces. The forces will be strongest here in the front. The length must be less than 94.5 centimeters. Equipped with these measurements, I cut out the cover base from 4 mm thick plywood. I think that wood end pieces would be a good idea. So I shaped the wood to the hull. I realized that it will probably not be strong enough, and I don't have much room for strengthening the plywood. Maybe I can add some steel. So I mark where to cut and make a cutting edge visit outdoors. I will also need to reduce the height of the plywood. So I trim down the surface. I also cut openings for the pins. That will allow the cover to be threaded onto the pins. The cover needs to be waterproofed with glass. I pre-wet the wood to allow the pores to be filled. Then I lay down the cloth and wet out the cloth until all air has left the cloth. When the back side is covered, I try the steel bits and how to fit them with the wood endings. When the pieces are prepared, I start to glue them in place. I pre-wet the wood with pure epoxy. Then I add cotton fibers to thicken the epoxy until it has the viscous texture that will stay in place. Then I add this glue to the surface and clamp the parts in place. The excess is used to fill some voids. The cover will fit onto the pins like this, and when slide down it will lock sideways. This is all I managed to do this eventful week. I hope to be able to finish the cover next week. Please join me then.